have been just common sense alarm bells going off. Just like, oh, wait a minute, there's something little here, because we're in this very rural part on that. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what you say, there's parts of this country that if you do not feel in place, you get the hell out of there. I've been in Idaho and I've been in some of these parts of the country, and you just keep going, because you're not a welcome person there on that. And it's not in the major touristy areas. I'm talking these real remote areas where you can disappear, and that's that. No one ever cares. But anyway, so Nell's in the motel room, and one of the camera girls, the microphone girl, she was holding the microphones up, tries to comfort her, and Nell starts licking her on that, going nuts. And then they bring her to the hospital. So as they bring her to the hospital, before they do, they try to call the dad, no answer, which is weird on that. But they bring her to the hospital. The hospital somehow is able to get a hold of her on that to advise what's going on that. So anyway, the dad shows up and he says, no, I don't want no test on my daughter. And the Reverend Cotton is saying, look, you need a doctor here, you need a psychologist, something's messed here, something really serious is messed up here. So he's begging him, and he's like, no, I'm just going to take her from here. Okay. So anyway, they back to the farm. Kayla, they go back to the farm to try to find out what the hell is going on here, and she sees Nell and the father outside yelling, and the guy says, turn the hell the camera off. And then they come inside and find out Caleb got cut, and here to here, it looks like with a knife on that from Nell. And he has this big gash right here, and he's bleeding everywhere on that. And he writes a note before his father says, do not let her alone with him. So the Reverend quickly folds it up, puts it in his pocket, and then he says, look, can you take my son to the medical day? I gotta stay here with Nell. He says, no. If the demon comes back, I will deal with it. You need to take your son on that. And that was because he saw the note and was trying to get the father out of there on that to find out what's going on with Nell. And while the father is gone, all this freaky stuff happens where Nell is like talking to two different voices. She's like sleepwalking, just typical exorcism kind of stuff. Nothing really outstanding. One of the things which was an interesting allegory is that she's drowning a baby doll on that baby doll in the water on that because she's like tripping out. And then they bring her back inside. They make her go back to bed. And then they leave her alone. They find out, they hear two voices in the room. They come in the room, it's only her. And she's like just sitting on the bed like nothing's wrong, nothing happened. So it's kind of funny in a lot of ways. So anyway, we fast forward. There's a lot to cover here because this jumps around so much on that. So with that is Anthony here on that. While they're asleep on that, decided here because everyone is tired here, Nell picks up the camera, goes out to her barn, finds a cat, and beats the heck out of the cat with the camera. And all you see is a zoom up with her hitting the cat on that, which is, what the... this is crazy. I mean, what are you doing? And then the camera comes off on that. That was right after when she put the camera down, took herself in the mirror, cracking her neck, doing this, all weird stuff. Okay, which led me to believe then she comes in with the camera to Cotton, who's sleeping. She holds the camera above Cotton's head, and the microphone girl says, Nell, and she's like, I'm sorry. Never thought in a second to hear she's holding the damn camera. Check the damn tape. You may have seen what she did on the damn tape. Never clicked in everyone's eye. Nobody suggested it. I don't know. Maybe it was for time's sake on that. But anyway, while they're doing this and they're noticing, going through the father's house, seeing not only weird artwork showing like those three of them, the priest, the cameraman, the microphone, all getting killed or mutilated, they come across the answering machine, and on the answering machine it says she's pregnant. And something I didn't mention. When they found Nell after they took Caleb here, Nell was chained to the bed. When his father was taking Caleb, Nell was chained to the bed. So they let her out to find out what's going on. Okay. So anyway, they say she's pregnant, and they're in the real box here because they're supposed to do an exorcism, but then the microphone lays, this is freaking incest, thinking the father did this to her. I mean, come on, you got to look at her. So she's kind of right. She's chained up in her room. Her father's homeschooling her. Mother's dead. It's kind of obvious what's going on here. She's isolated from the world. So anyway, they do this. They do all this stuff, and this evil stuff, and so they say, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. On that. Now, earlier in the movie, and I know I'm jumping around here, they talk to a local priest to ask for help with this thing because they felt that this guy, at this point, when killed, they said she needs medical help. She needs real doctors, real psychologists. So that's not the words look, but they went to the priest and said, please help us. And the priest, or the pastor, I have his name right now, it doesn't matter, and that agrees to come out if the farm allows it. So anyway, they say, okay, it gets to a point where Nell's freaking out. They finally get in her room, calm down, and then the husband comes back, says, I need you to do another exorcism on him, or on her. He's like, I'm not doing another one. This is not an exorcism. She has a serious mental condition. You need to get a doctor with her. Because what's interesting about this is be careful what you pretend to be, because it may come to haunt you. And that's what was going on. This guy was a hustler. He knew he was a hustler. He knew he was caught. He didn't want to deal with something that was real. And that's what was really, really scaring him to death, is something real. It's right in his face, and he didn't know how to deal with it. And that's something that a lot of people face, is when they face something real, they freak out. They don't know what to do. But anyway, he says, I'm not doing another exorcism. I'm not doing another one. And then the father says, okay, well, I'll consider you trespassers on my property if you're not off in 5 minutes. And everyone's like, let's just get the hell out of here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And he's like, look, I don't want to leave her because his dad is just going to rape her or kill her, worse. On that. So they're saying, okay, well, let's just get out, let's get her and go. And then they go up to Nell, and while the dad goes outside to pray, Nell starts breaking up the upstairs big time, and she's on this corner doing all sort of exorcism kind of stuff. And they find her corners, they tell her to come down, they tell her you're going to take her in the car, then she freaks out, slashes the guy in the hand on that, and says here, and she tries to act all paranormal stuff, and just kind of go from there. And then she leaves, or jumps out the window, and then somehow lands on that. And then she's outside, and then runs off. So everyone runs out to try to chase her, and they can't find her. So they come back to the car and say, let's just go. And then they find her sitting in the porch. And then they approach her. Cotton says, look, Nell, please talk to us. And they said, I'm sorry. And then as soon as the camera guy comes up on her, she lashes out at the camera. Just totally kind of, that was kind of cool. Totally unexpected. And then she lashes at the camera. But while she's doing this, the other guy's holding her. Here comes Big Daddy with a shotgun. And then he starts shooting. And then they get her in the kitchen, and two people are holding her back saying, please, okay, I'll do another exorcism. Please put down the gun. So anyway, they do this second exorcism in a farm, so to speak, in a barn on that, and she starts kind of wigging out. They're on that. They don't know if she's still chained because they don't know what the heck she's going to do. And she's resting now. They're trying to call this demon here, and she says she hears it, and she does this neck cracking thing. Was heck of freaky. I don't know how she did it on that, but she did it. And then she's like bending back over, and supposedly She says she is Absalom. And Absalom, or the guy, the demon that was mentioned earlier, and he said, oh really? He says, I heard you don't believe in me. Well, here I am. And he says, well, one of the funny things, I'll make a deal. If you can keep quiet for 10 seconds, I'll let the girl go. He's like, okay, deal. And then she starts breaking her fingers backwards, like crack. Oh, and then like the guy's like, here, the dad is like freaking out. She does it too. And he's like, okay, no, stop. This is like, I knew you were weak on that, because on that. So it's kind of funny how that kind of played out. So she's like, all right. But then she says, makes a comment. How about a blowing job? And yes, blowing job. And he's like, well, at first he goes back to the dad and says, I can't do anything. You better kill her or something. He's like, no, help her. And he's like, okay. Goes back and says, you know what? I don't think you are a demon. I think you're a 16-year-old girl. Keeps pushing it, and then she's like, the demon starts freaking out. Says, he's like, she's not innocent. And then supposedly she's been, quote, exorcised. Okay, so then we figuring all's good in love and war, you know, whatever. She's been really exorcised this time. The demon is gone, but in my opinion, it wasn't quite over because there was no closure. There's no for sure demon is gone, that's that. So anyway, in the madness, when the guy's leaving on that house, on that, well, before he leaves, he calls up the other pastor and says, please come over here and, you know, talk to them, get this all taken care of, and supposedly it's all good. He drives away, and he says, hey, wait a minute. She explains why she's pregnant, because supposedly some dude by the name of Logan impregnated her on that, or raped her or something. It was not quite clear what happened. He says, wait a minute, there's a diner. What was the name of it? Oh, that's it. Let's go there and let's talk to this Logan guy. So they go in there and they talk to Logan, who Logan says, yeah, I've been to the pastor's thing. He says, well, to be honest, I didn't do anything with her. He's like, why? He says, well, he didn't come out straight, but they're like, he's totally gay. And he's like, wait a minute, you're gay? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, okay. So they get in the car and they're driving down the road and they're talking about this. And says, and even the girl's like, that guy was totally gay. There's no way he had sex with her to make that happen. So they turn around the minivan because something is just not adding up. So they go out to the minivan, they turn around, they come back up to the house. The house is pitch black. And they go inside and all they see is these satanic blood marks all over the house. Like the symbolism of that, which I don't want to display on my video. I'm familiar with a lot of them, but anyway, so all this here, and then they come out inside. They're just like, let's get the hell out of here. We're in the wrong place. Let's get out of here. So they go out there, and while Cotton's outside, he says, do you hear that? And he's like, hear a girl screaming. And she's like, you heard it very faintly in the video, but then they go out there and further into the forest. Now you would think at this point, you got out of there, you just found out the girl's lying, but she's been changed, she's been going crazy, everything you've gone through in video, you'd think you'd make a phone call and say something's not added up, you would be getting the authorities, you'd be in there, something is not right. And it should have cued you at the moment you walked into that house and saw all that satanic stuff on the walls. Should have cued you to pick up a phone, a cell phone, and said, hey dudes, this isn't right. You got to come out here and deal with this. This is legit. FBI, someone. On that, I wouldn't have trusted the local cops. I would have been on the phone with the FBI on that out there on that too, because the local cops in places like that you can't trust on that because they're possibly in on it. So anyway, so they're out there.